Welcome to Brands Hatch for the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy. Coming up is race 2 from this weekend, and we're promised close and competitive racing as always. Simon, this is your first race ever. How are you feeling?
Yeah, quite excited. It's a lot of fun. It's the first day racing, but been on a couple of track days, so yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement.
And what made you choose the Elise Trophy?
I just spoke to a couple of guys that had heard about the series, and they said it was a very friendly series, good series to start off with for your first racing, and a lot of good characters in there to get on for your first race, really.
And are you going to put in a podium finish today?
Not a chance, no. I am nicely bringing up the rear, nice and safely, and about a week behind everybody else.
Your first race and your first time out with the Elise Trophy, how are you feeling?
Pretty shell-shocked, really. Muffed the qualifying and praying for rain. It rained for me, and I managed to pull it together in the wet, because I only managed to do track days in the wet, so it really helps.
So what made you choose the Elise Trophy?
I got it at least 2.5 years ago, started to do track days, was familiar with it. Paul was really encouraging, and there we go, and we're here today.
And enjoying yourself so far?
Immensely, thank you.
Chris, you're brand new to racing and brand new to the Elise Trophy.
Yes, I am, yes. My first qualifying yesterday, and it was great fun, and looking forward to the big race later on today.
Are you feeling any nerves or excitement?
A little of both, I guess. Yeah, not too nervous, I hope. And yeah, a little bit of adrenaline going, so I'm looking forward to it.
And what made you decide to race in the Elise Trophy?
Clearly, it's the best trophy for Lotuses in the country, or certainly in near Europe. So it was the obvious choice. Lotus on Track, Elise Trophy. Here I am.
So, Greg, what brings you back to the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy this year?
Well, another year of fun, hopefully close racing with a lot of similar competitive guys, all from track day backgrounds. Although for me, it's the start of the third season, so it's a bit more competitive. Hopefully moving up the grid a bit, and maybe even getting a couple more cups, you never know.
Gary, you're back for another season. What keeps you coming back?
I just love it. I love the camaraderie, the racing and everything. Although it's been pretty tough winter, I just really had to make up my mind if I was going to get in a bit more debt and carry on. So I decided to do that, and here I am.
Since the very beginning of the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy, Yokohama have been the tyre sponsors, and I'm joined now by Simon Clark of Yokohama. Simon, where did your involvement come from, and why the Elise Trophy?
It dates back to the days working with Lotus and the factory cars. Basically, they had a motorsport program that started off, and we became involved from then, really.
Obviously, you've been sponsoring the series from the beginning. What encourages you to come back every year?
It's very good racing. I think it gives us very good TV exposure. Takes the Yokohama name out to the general public. It's very good.
And how many sets of tyres do you end up going through each weekend?
Depends where we are, but we could always do with doing a few more, I think.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Well, those Yokohamas are most certainly going to be tortured in this, the second final of the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy, round 1 of 2010. This is for the drivers who did a little bit less well in the heat races, and so we could well see some new names standing on top of the podium. And well, the front row, we have got 2 novice drivers who've done less than 10 races, and pole position, it's Phil Stratton-Lake, alongside him Paul Baker. Steve Quick should go well from 5th on the grid. A little bit further down the order, Ben Pitcher, torrid weekend for him, a race winner in 2009 in the modified class. Andy Dolan, we saw him earlier in the weekend going very well. And the last 4 drivers on the grid are starting with a 20-second penalty, but watch Jewel and Williams fighting their way up through the pack. So another 20-minute race in prospect on the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, and another capacity grid of the Lotus Elises as well. It really has been a stunning start to the 2010 Lotus on Track Elise Trophy. So the field completing their green flag formation, that their last opportunity to just see how the car is working before we go racing. Being a timed race, there's no set number of laps, it's as many as they can complete in the 20 minutes. So on pole position, Phil Stratton-Lake, Heat and British Racing Green Machine with yellow stripes, and Paul Baker alongside him in the maroon car with the brown roof. At the back of the field, Gary Broad just coming into position. So it is once more all eyes on the gantry as Paul Baker gets a bit of a creep on, and that means that Phil Stratton-Lake streaks into an early lead, and Stu Moult in the silver 44 machine as well, trying to squeeze up the inside. outside. Steve Quick as well, a good start from him as he pushes the inside of James Proctor as well. Dave Carr gets away well at number 30, the all-green car, Andy Dolan, as you'd expect, looking feisty in the early stages, but Stratton Lake, who takes the early advantage and taking a very nice line through Druids, so he is trying to do exactly what Martin Donnelly did a little bit earlier on and stretch his legs in the early stages, build that gap, although for the moment Baker is going with him and Malt, and then the rest of the field streaming through. Ben Pitch there in the Hoffman 78 machine, a little bit further down the order than he'd like to be. Stratton Lake through Surtees for the first time, and already he's got 5 or so car lengths, but Steve Quick up into 4th position. He's on the tail of Stu Malt and carries a lot of speed through Clearways and Clark Curve as Stratton Lake on course to complete that one. But let's see Steve Quick in the yellow machine. He's tucked up behind the silver car of Malt. He goes for the wide line into Paddock Hill Bend. Is he going to convert around the outside? No, Malt does a good job holding the inside line, but maybe running a little bit wide. That could give Quick the opportunity to pounce as they run towards Druids. Baker also getting a less excellent exit from Paddock Hill Bend through the light, but Malt holding on to the inside as Quick goes to the outside. Quick is going to make it stick because he holds on all the way around Druids. That gives him the inside line for Graham Hill Bend. Through he goes, so Steve Quick moves up into 3rd position. And with a name like that, he really couldn't have been anything but a racing driver, and he's certainly living up to the surname now in pursuit of Paul Baker in 2nd place. Well, Baker being caught by Quick as they go into Clearway. Stu Malt in 4th position, just watching how the race unfolds in front of him as Dave Carr does the same. A lot of less experienced drivers in this race, but thus far doing a very creditable job indeed as Quick goes to the outside of Baker as they go towards Paddock Hill Bend, around the outside. A brilliant manoeuvre from Steve Quick in the Track Club car, teammate to Marcus Jewell, who we saw in action a little bit earlier on. So Quick performing excellently as he moves up into 2nd place. Already Dave Carr has got a queue of machinery behind him. It's Will Price, then Greg Noble and Nigel Ayres, as Noble looking to the outside of Will Price, but for the moment the price is right. He maintains that place as he takes smooth line through Graham Hill Bend. But Noble, he's not been winning any prizes this weekend, but he has been doing a great job with some feisty racing, as that proves. 2 wheels on the grass, finds there's not much in the way of traction there, so he has no option but to slot back into the racing line behind Will Price. Nigel Ayres there in slipstream, then Andy Dolan lurking with intent a little bit further back. And there is Dolan, we see in the white car, making his way through. So Greg Noble on the tail of Will Price towards Paddock Hill Bend. He dives to the inside, through he goes. There's nothing that Will Price could do. He gives Noble racing room, and as a result, Greg Noble moving up a place at head of the field. Stratton Lake is being reeled in with some rapidity by Steve Quick. Greg Noble as well, already onto the tail of Dave Carr. Now Carr has been receiving tuition from Martin Donnelly. He knows a thing or two about racing around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, and so Carr doing a very nice job because he just wafts the inside of the circuit, just enough to deter Greg Noble from going for manoeuvre as Nigel Ayres makes his way past Will Price in the background of the shot. And again, Carr leaves a bit of a gap, and through goes Noble. So Greg Noble gains a position. He moves up into 5th place ahead of Dave Carr. Dave Carr now having to defend for Nigel Ayres. So Noble released to try and chase down the 4 cars ahead of him. Andy Dolan making his way around the outside of Will Price as they head towards Paddock Hill Bend. Dolan always one to watch and always races a lot better than he qualifies. He's one of those drivers who just likes to see a bumper ahead of him, and that gives him an extra second or so in pace. Well, he's got the bumper of Nigel Ayres ahead of him, and Ayres in turn has got the mean green machine of Dave Carr that he is trying to pick his way past. That's for 6th position. Ayres just jinks the inside on the way into Graham Hill Bend. I think that's more a case of saying, hello Dave, there I am. A spin from Will Price. So Will Price spins at Druids. A great shame, he was well up the running order. So Will Price loses some positions. And is that Peter Baker holding up another train of cars? Indeed it is. And so Baker did a brilliant defensive job in the first final, and he's doing exactly the same in final 2. He's got Ben Pitch on his tail. And well, in the first race, driver held on, nobody could find their way through, and I expect we can see a repeat performance this time around. Then it's Ben Pitch and Hans Baumhart in the blue number 14 car. Baumhart, another stalwart of the Lotus on Track Elise trophy and another feisty racer. Ben Pitch, disappointing weekend for him. He usually, I think, could be expected to show a little bit better than this. He's certainly a very, very classy driver, as he shows by just covering the inside line from Baumhart, who looks to the outside around Druids. There's Matt Bartlett, also in the mix. Adam Busey possibly as well in the background. So it is driver, Pitch and Baumhart as they go through Graham Hill Bend once more. And again, Pitch covering the inside line, and Baumhart, if he wants to find his way past Pitch, is a spin! That's second place, that's Peter Baker. So Peter Baker goes farming on the exit of Surtees, and that's a great shame. Stuck in the mud for Baker. He is going to lose a slurry of positions, and Ben Pitch may well lose out as well to Baumhart, as Baumhart carries the inside line this time as they blast down the Bramham Straight on towards Paddock Hill Bend. It's going to be a case of battle of the late breakers, and Pitch is late on the brakes, so is Baumhart, and Baumhart makes it stick. He goes through. Can Pitch get the switch back as they climb up towards Druids? Oh no, Baumhart shadowing to the inside line, but Pitch goes for it very late. Two wheels on the grass, almost contact with Baumhart. They scrabble through, and good driving from the pair of them, as Stu Malt has now been caught by Dave Carr. So Carr, having a train of vehicles on his tail, has given him the hurry up somewhat. Andy Dolan is there as we head to the race leader. Phil Stratton Lake still in the lead, but he has got Steve Quick right on his tail. So Stratton Lake in the green and yellow car, Quick in the all yellow machine, as Malt in the silver leads Carr. And then Andy Dolan, and Dolan, he's been getting a good run on Bramham Straight. He looks the outside of Dave Carr. As Malt runs wide, that could be an opening for Dave Carr. Carr goes for delivery, clouts the curb, runs wide. Andy Dolan, no second invitation required. He gains another position and is now up onto the tail of Malt. Malt in turn is in third place as a consequence of the spin from Paul Baker. So this is for the final podium position, so plenty to race for, with a trophy and a bottle of bubbly awaiting the top three finishers. As off at Paddock Hill Bend, I think that's Adam Busey, it certainly looks like it. So Busey backwards into the beach at Paddock, and we're going to get the recovery vehicle coming to winch him out of the sand trap. That means that for the next few laps, Paddock Hill Bend will be covered by waved yellow flags, and in turn the implication of that is no overtaking for the drivers. Yes, you can just see the marshals holding out their flag in the distance. So Andy Dolan, he can't go through, but that doesn't mean he can't menace, and that's exactly what he does, just showing himself to Stu Malt in the mirrors. And as they head to the Greens flag, through goes Dolan as they go around either side of the back marker. Well, feisty driving, but Dolan gains that position. He goes up into third position, and he is now released to chase down our leading duo. Further back, Peter Driver busy defends from Hans Baumhart, then Ben Pitch and Matt Bartlett in the mix. Baumhart has the inside run to Graham Hill Bend. Through he goes. Driver doesn't want to give it to him, but he turns across too late, so Baumhart gains the place, and Driver demoted, although Driver looking immediately to the inside. We've got a wave yellow flag, and that's why we've got a spin from Noble, and Noble stranded in the middle of the circuit. The drivers go every which way as Noble frantically scrabbles for a gear. A scary moment. The last thing you want to do is be stuck in the middle of the circuit at Surtees, one of the quickest parts of the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. Well, Noble, I can see in the background, has recovered. So a 360 stall and then restart for Greg Noble. That loses him a lot of positions and really takes away any chance that he had of finishing on the podium. It does give Ben Pitch a position. He was able to take advantage of a slight pause from Peter Driver and move around the outside as they got to clearway. So Pitch is released once more to reclaim that position he lost earlier on to Hans Baumhart. There is BJ Chong, and there is Greg Noble at the back of that train. So Noble, though he's spun, he's still got plenty of friends to race with. It's Baumhart heading up another enormous train of Lotus Elises as they are busy fighting for about 6th position. So well into the upper order of this race as Baumhart gets the good run through Clark Curve. Adam Busey's machine is recovered by the marshals, doing a great job as ever to the very edge of the Paddock Hill gravel trap. Baumhart covers the inside line in Paddock Hill Bend somewhat superfluously. We still have waved yellow flags there, so no overtaking, and no overtaking will be allowed until the big yellow recovery vehicle goes back behind the tyre barrier. doesn't mean they can't race on the rest of the circuit, and that's exactly what they're doing. As Bartlett and Chong trying to chase down Pt2 driver, Noble trying to regain what positions he can, and that's also Gary Broad and Steve Williams in that train. Williams in the yellow car, Broad in the blue machine, and Williams there, lights ablaze. He started this race with a 20-second penalty, and already he's up with some of the leading drivers. And well, you'd never accuse Steve Williams of being anything less than assertive, as Greg Noble makes his way past Donald Cannard, and Donald Cannard just leaves the door open, so through goes Greg Noble. Well, somewhat unseasonably for Cannard. It's not fine weather ducks, beautiful sunshine here at Brands Hatch and perfect conditions for racing as he fights back around the outside of Greg Noble as they go in towards Paddock Hill Bend once more, climbing up to Druids. Noble looking to make manoeuvre as Williams and Gary Broad as well. He started the race with a 20-second penalty too. So Broad in 23 and Williams in the yellow AT machine, both of whom started well down with 20-second penalties, and they've done a fine job of working their way up through the field. As now Williams on the tail of Matt Bartlett, Broad trying to chase down BJ Chong. Cannard defending from Noble, a wonderful panning shot here as we can see in the distance. Williams looks to have got a run possibly on Matt Bartlett. And we go back to Greg Noble, who is still fighting to find his way past Donald Cannard. This time he's in Cannard's slipstream as Ben Pitch again looking to the outside of Hans Baumhart. Wherever you turn, there are overtaking manoeuvres being attempted. As Pitch, has he got the run up towards Druid's hairpin? No, he hasn't. Instead, squeezed to the outside somewhat by Baumhart. These two vastly experienced in these Lotuses on track Elise Trophy Elises, and as a consequence, racing very hard but very fair. And there's no way through for Ben Pitch. Well, Dave Carr still holding off Nigel Ayres. Then it's Pitch and Baumhart, then driver, and then it's Steve Williams. So Williams has made his way past Matt Bartlett. Pitch yet to make his way past Hans Baumhart. And Pitch and Williams had plenty of dices last year, and well, I don't know what Ben Pitch will be thinking when he sees Williams' headlights in his rearview mirror. Pt2 driver, meanwhile, trying to defend from Williams, who looks to the outside as they head towards paddock. Meanwhile, we have a change for the lead as Steve Quick has taken the lead away from Phil Stratton-Lake. The pressure has been on for several laps, and finally it's paid. Quick goes through and moves up into the overall lead of the race as the front of Quick's car held together by masking tape following a slight indiscretion earlier in the weekend. Not this doing anything to dent Quick's pace. They make their way around the outside of the 53 machine, a little bit further down the order. Through they go without too many problems. And accelerating on 53, that's Christopher Mayhew. And Christopher, well, he's been getting quicker and quicker all weekend, but he's still not quite on the pace of the race leader, Steve Quick, as Quick accelerates up towards Druids, and his focus will now be on trying to break away from Phil Stratton-Lake. Stratton-Lake, as far as done a very good job in leading the race, and now with a car to follow, he might find that he just gets those extra couple of tenths and stays right behind Quick. Yes, there you can see very clearly where Quick's machine has been repaired. It was an incident at Graham Hill Bend that caused the damage. Lights ablaze on behalf of Quick as Stratton-Lake falls a little bit further back. There's Marcus Jewell, and there is a spin in the background. One of the cars deposited very firmly in the gravel trap at Paddock Hill Bend. I don't think he's going any further. It looks from a distance like the 57 machine of Neil Stotter, and so Stotter is stuck hard, and he is unfortunately going no further. Donald Cannard now being caught by Marcus Jewell, as that is Paul McNeely in the Fox Motorsport number 8 machine, and McNeely again having a solid weekend's racing. Another driver sporting the black novice cross on the rear of the machine, and so McNeely up against Donald Cannard, who is arguably a little bit more experienced, and Marcus Jewell, who is vastly more experienced. They go past the stranded car of Stotter again. Paddock Hill Bend covered by way of yellow flags as the car is winched away. So McNeely safely out of Druids and down on towards Graham Hill Bend. Cannard under attack from Marcus Jewell, and through goes Jewell in the Track Club bright orange number 17 machine. Through goes Jewel. Gary Broad just going through short. He's cleared Matt Bartlett as they lap Christopher Mayhew. And yes, Jewel makes the move stick for certain as they head into Surtees. As Mayhew moves left of the circuit, so Jewel loses no time whatsoever there as he now sets off in pursuit of Paul McNeely. Some of the drivers ahead of the field getting amongst the back markers, so whichever way they look, there are certainly cars to pass around the circuit. Through goes Jewel, moving up another position, still in pursuit of McNeely. Although Marcus Jewel, those Yokohamas may well be crying for mercy now. This is his third race of the weekend. Not that it's hurting his pace too much. Up the inside of McNeely he goes, and so another position gained for Marcus Jewel. Once more on to Graham Hill Bend, and it's through the corners where Jewel is really just able to gain the ground on the cars around him. And is he going to get another position almost immediately? We've got a spin there at Druids. That's Vittel Chahoun. And Chahoun, a very neat demonstration of a three-point turn. He almost wipes out the recovering Paul Baker into the bargain. But Chahoun recovers without too many problems as skittering across the grass. That is number 59. And, well, Nigel Hannam hangs it out wide at Clearways. As a consequence, he loses the position to Marcus Jewel. And he also loses out to Paul McNeely. So, well, Nigel Hannam, it was a tiny mistake, just two wheels across the gravel trap, but he loses 2 places as a consequence. So Jewel now off in pursuit of Matt Bartlett. Hannam under pressure from Donald Cannard, although he will be looking to take that place back from McNeely. Here is Dave Carr, who's about to lose out to Steve Williams. Williams gains another position, and that moves him up into 5th position. Dave Carr, who has been defending with fortitude for several laps, has now got Baumhart, Ayres and Pitch all queuing up on his tail. And Dave Carr, the novice racer, Nigel Ayres, who most certainly is not, but Carr, is he going to cover that line? No, he takes the wide line on the ramp straight. This could cost him very, very dearly indeed if the others decide to be a little bit bolder on the brakes, but no, Carr covers the line very nicely indeed. Well done, Dave Carr, although he's now got Baumhart on his tail. Carr runs wide up towards Druids. That is going to be Baumhart's opening. Through goes Hans Baumhart. He takes 6th position. So Carr demoted to 7th. He's got Nigel Ayres, Ben Pitch, Peter Driver and Gary Broad all on his tail. As Carr leads a bit of space into Graham Hill Bend, is Ayres going to capitalise? No! Carr just covers the line in time, and Ben Pitch unable to do anything as well about Nigel Ayres. In front of the shot, Stu Malt already being caught by Steve Williams, who is now threatening for 4th position, having started the race back with a 20-second penalty. There goes Ben Pitch on the inside of Nigel Ayres. Ayres left a car's width. That was just enough for Ben Pitch, although that time Dave Carr again running a little bit wide out of Clearways. He covers the tight line along Bramham Straight as Pitch unable to capitalise because he was busy passing Nigel Ayres. Peter Driver leads the door wide open, and through goes Gary Broad in a plume of tyre smoke, and Gary Broad just up the inside, so he gains another position. Frantic jockeying for these top 10 places as Ben Pitch gives Dave Carr a helping hand around Druids. Not sure that Carr really feels he needed the help, and I'm not sure he'll appreciate it very much either. And then Pitch makes his way through. Graham Hill Bend, Carr outbreaks himself. He loses 4 places. Disaster for Dave Carr, and I just wonder whether he was slightly perturbed by that very slight nudge from Ben Pitch at Druids. So Carr slipping down the order, that actually demotes him into 11th position as Nigel Ayres runs wide as well. He loses out to Gary Broad, and Peter Driver's going to pitch his way through as well. So Ayres shuffled down a couple of positions. That is going to leave him in 10th place as we are on to the final lap of the race now. And Steve Quick and Phil Stratton-Lake have been absolutely imperious at the head of the field. Quick taking the lead midway through the race. Stratton-Lake, the novice driver, taking off into an early lead from pole position, and then keeping Steve Quick very, very honest for the second half of the race. As 1 corner to go for Steve Quick. He's just got Clark Curve and the Bramham Straight between himself, the checkered flag and a win in the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy. So here comes Steve Quick. The checkered flag is ready and waiting. Across the line he goes. He takes the win. Stratton-Lake takes an excellent second position. further back. Dave Carr's got more company as Marcus Jewell gains another position. So Jewell, again, another of the drivers with a 20-second penalty. He fights his way up through the field to the checkered flag. The race winner, Steve Quick, quite rightly acknowledging the applause of the crowd and the marshals. So the classification, Steve Quick wins it from Stratton Lake. Andy Dolan all the way up to third place, with Steve Williams fourth from a 20-second penalty. Great race there from the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy, as the champagne is sprayed with some vigour.
Steve, your first race, and you get a first place.
Yeah, very scary, but very interesting, very enjoyable.
And it wasn't easy, was it?
To start off with, it was very difficult, lots of traffic, lots of people sliding around all over the place. And then halfway through, I kept an eye on the guy in front, and his tyres started to go off a little bit, and decided that was the time to go for him.
And it certainly paid off.
Yeah, quite pleased to get some silverware.
Phil, a fantastic result for you. It's your first race, isn't it?
That's right, yep, this weekend's the first race weekend. Yeah, it's my 50th birthday present for my lovely wife. And it's the most thrilling experience by far and away I've ever. It's just fantastic.
I mean, incredible to be out there for your first race, get the second place.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But, the other guy, is it Simon Deacon? I don't know who won. Steve Quick, well, yeah, quick by name, quick by nature. I couldn't hold it. I did my best for half the race. And, he just got me going into paddock. Nothing I could do about it. And then it was just a case of hanging on. But, I gave it all I had there.
And will you be back again?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Andy, did you enjoy that race?
It was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. I love coming to Brands and racing. It's just amazing. My third season, started my third season. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to be on a podium. There's too many talented guys out there, but it was good. Fantastic.
It was certainly a close race.
Yeah, well, Matt Bartlett was always a contender. I knew Hans was there, and I knew Greg Noble was behind me. So it was guys to watch out for. But once I got sort of past him a little bit, I could breathe a little bit easier. It was good.
Another action-packed day here at Brands Hatch, and seeing novice drivers take a podium position is absolutely incredible. Where else would you see that? Well, to find out, join us later on in the season here at EliseTrophy.tv.